Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to do the chest squeeze press. I'm going to actually show you two different ways to do this. I'm also going to teach you how to program this into your workouts to train and target the inner chest using the squeeze press. And then lastly, I'm going to share with you some common errors and faults that I see and how to fix them. Let's dive in. So the chest squeeze press is a great exercise to target the innermost muscle fibers of the pecs. So that helps you get that separation down the center of the chest. I prefer to do this off of a flat bench. You could do it off of an incline bench or a decline bench, see how it feels. But the biggest thing with this is we want to try and get range of motion. So usually I like the flat bench option. Now I'm going to show you two different ways to do this, and there's really only a slight difference once we're at the bottom in the position. So let's start off with step one. Step one, we're going to set our bench. Again, let's start with the flat bench. We're going to pick our weights up, put them on our thighs, and then we're going to lay ourselves back, keeping our hips down. Second step here is we want to think about lining the dumbbells up so we're pressing them in together as they're above my chest. The third step is we want to continue to press inwards, and I should feel my inner chest working. I'm going to pull them down to my body, keeping pressure, making sure my elbows aren't flaring out, and then I'm going to push up. So you could stop there at that third step, or you could take it a step further, and we're going to add a fourth step, and this is the second variation of this. So instead of coming down and stopping at our chest, we're going to slightly open up, get a deep stretch, keeping that neutral position with our wrists are facing our torso. And then as we go past the chest, we keep our chest high. Now we're going to press upwards, bring them back in together, and squeeze them at the top. So we're almost creating like an A path. So we separate them on the way down, and then we squeeze them back together once they pass the chest. Now, I think it's important to recognize that the second variation of this, where you bring them down and you're more of an A press, you're not squeezing as much on the way up or down, so you might not feel a lot of contraction compared to the first variation. But what you are going to get is an added stretch at the bottom, especially if you keep those close to your body, and then you can bring them in as soon as possible. You are still going to train the innermost muscle fibers of the pecs, and you're going to get a bigger, deeper stretch on the muscle. So it could be something you want to check out. I typically will go back and forth. I prefer myself when I'm trying to get better separation in between. I'm trying to have that narrower position, and I'm trying to get deeper into that stretch. I find a little bit better growth there, but try both. Now, how I would integrate this into my workouts. This is more of an exercise I would like to do with a moderate to higher rep range. This is typically towards the end of a workout when I'm already stressed the muscle fibers with heavier loads, and I'm just trying to finish off with more of a slow, controlled, higher rep movement, really trying to just hit those little last touches on the chest day. I do not want to train this in heavy, heavy loads because it's a really disadvantageous position for the shoulders to be in, kind of nice and close like this. So I like to train 2 to 3 sets, 10, 15, 20, sometimes 25 reps, really just burning up. This is really a cool one that you can do with drop sets. You can finish off the workout and really get a great muscle contraction and pump when doing this. Now, probably the biggest issue that I see when doing this is because it is close, is that when people lower themselves down, they let those shoulders hunch forward and then they complain of shoulder pain. So while we are keeping a close position with our hands, we want to make sure that we're really packing our shoulder blades together and we're keeping those shoulders back, right? So you might not be able to go all the way down, especially if you have, so there's really one key fault I see when doing this, and that's allowing the shoulders to round forward as we're lowering the weights. And what that looks like is this. We normally want to think about chest stays up, and we're trying to have the chest be the high point, like a mountain where we touch it, our shoulders stay back, and we press up. What happens is that at the bottom here is that we sometimes collapse into this position, and then we press it off our body. We could be collapsing for two reasons. The first is that the weight's just too heavy, we're not controlling it. So in that case, go down. Again, this is not an exercise where we're trying to do a bunch of heavy reps. Obviously, we want to work with a challenging load, but we are working in that moderate to high rep range. The second technique is pour. right? What I mean by that is narrow grip. We have to really focus on keeping that chest up. So practice keeping the shoulders back as our high point is the sternum. And as we press, we're still keeping that high point, focusing on, again, keeping the chest up and shoulders back. And that is the dumbbell squeeze press. Again, I showed you two variations. The first one, keeping it nice and tight through here. The second one gave us a little bit more range of motion, get a bigger, deeper stretch, but we didn't squeeze as much. So you can play around with both. Let me know which one you like better in the comments. And then make sure you guys put this into your workout program. I taught you how to do it. Again, we are focusing on higher rep ranges, still with challenging loads. We're using a heavy challenging load for the rep ranges of 10 to 15, 15 to 20, or 15, all the way up to 30 reps. I like putting this towards the end of my workout. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys subscribe and tune in for more videos like this.